On a quiet summer afternoon, the small coastal town seemed like any other. Seagulls cawed lazily above, and the waves lapped gently at the sandy shore. Life had always been slow for Samuel, an old black man in his 70s. Each day, he took his customary walk along the beach, a worn straw hat perched on his head, cane in hand, and memories of his youth etched into the lines of his face. Life had not been easy, decades of struggle, hardship, and quiet perseverance, but Samuel had learned to move through it with dignity and a calm, patient heart. That afternoon, as Samuel walked along the shoreline, his gaze caught something unusual. A small figure bobbed dangerously far from the shore. It was a child, no older than 6 or 7, drifting helplessly toward the deeper, rougher waters. Panic gripped Samuel's chest, but action came before thought. He dropped his cane and sprinted, legs aching from age and years of labor, toward the child. The water was cold, and the waves pushed back against him, but Samuel refused to stop. He reached the child just as a particularly strong wave tried to pull them further out. With all his strength, Samuel clutched the child to his chest, using his body to shield them from the relentless current. The struggle felt endless, the waves threatening to overpower them, but Samuel's resolve was stronger. Inch by inch, step by step, he fought against the water, finally reaching the shore. Exhausted and shivering, Samuel gently laid the child on the sand. The child coughed and spluttered but was alive, wide-eyed and scared. A small crowd had gathered by this point, neighbors and tourists alike, witnessing the old man's heroism. But Samuel did not linger for applause. With a tired nod, he adjusted his hat, picked up his cane, and continued his slow walk home, as if nothing extraordinary had happened. It was the following day that Samuel's life began to change. The child's parents, a wealthy family from the city, tracked him down after discovering the name of their rescuer from witnesses. They arrived at his modest home with gratitude overflowing in their eyes and hearts. They insisted on repaying him, offering financial help, a new home, and even a job opportunity. But Samuel, who had lived modestly all his life, only accepted a warm handshake and a promise to meet him for lunch occasionally. However, life had a different plan. News of Samuel's heroic act spread quickly through social media and local news. People were inspired by the selfless courage of an elderly man who risked his life without thinking twice. Donations poured in, offers for speaking engagements came, and even a local community center wanted him to mentor children, teaching them resilience and kindness. Samuel's small act of heroism became a beacon of hope for the entire town. But the true change in Samuel's life was not the money or the fame. It was the relationships he built, the gratitude he received, and the feeling that he still mattered in the world. Children would run up to him on the beach, waving and calling him a hero. Strangers would stop him to say, "Thank you for reminding us what kindness looks like." Samuel felt something he had not felt in years: purpose, warmth, and belonging. The family he saved formed a special bond with him. They visited often, sharing meals, stories, and laughter. The child he saved, named Emma, saw him as a grandfather she never had, and Samuel's heart swelled with joy every time he looked at her smiling face. Samuel realized that one small act of courage and kindness could ripple through life, changing the destiny of not only the person rescued but the rescuer too. In the years that followed, Samuel continued his walks on the beach, now greeted by familiar faces, waves of gratitude, and endless smiles. He often reflected on that summer day, realizing that heroism does not always come with accolades, it comes quietly, in moments when we choose compassion over indifference. Samuel's simple act had saved a life, changed a family, and ultimately, transformed his own. The town never forgot him. The story of the old black man who saved a child became legendary, a tale told in schools, at community gatherings, and across social media platforms. Samuel remained humble, insisting he had only done what anyone else would have done. Yet, the world saw a hero, and in that recognition, Samuel discovered that life could still surprise you, even in your twilight years. And so, Samuel walked on, cane in hand, heart full of love, knowing that kindness, courage, and selflessness are the truest measures of a life well lived.